Hey guys. So it has been a minute since I recorded a video. I had all these plans to be consistent and to record different stuff. Didn't happen. Didn't happen. Life has just been lifing. So anyway, I did take some time away from the fertility journey just to kind of take a break, but now I am back. So I felt like it was necessary to kind of start sharing some of what is going on. So yeah, so let's get into it. So it has been a while. If you're just kind of catching up or just here, if you are new to my channel, I did IVF last year, and I had successful embryo transfer, which unfortunately I ended up having a miscarriage. So round two for IVF. If you follow me on social media, I have been just kind of hinting at or just sharing that we were gearing up for round number two. But what I haven't shared is any details. So I'm going to, in a series of videos, just kind of share the details, the ins and out of part two. So this round for us looks different. And the reason for that is because I was diagnosed with diminished ovarian reserve, which means I have a low AMH, which just basically means that the amount of eggs that I have left is low. It's very low. So my AMH, the last time we checked it, so on average, your AMH for healthy range is 1.0 to 4.0. So that's a healthy range. My AMH the last time they checked, I think was, I think a year ago. So last year when I was, in our first round. So my AMH is 0.1. So the average is 1.0 to 4.0, and mine is 0.1. And it actually dropped from 0.4 to 0.2, then 0.1. So my AMH is low. So what that means is it will be very difficult for us to have a lot of eggs for egg retrieval. So last year I did one round of egg retrieval and only retrieved 2 eggs. So on average, if you have a healthy, normal AMH range, you'll get anywhere from 15 to 24, I believe is the average, but I only got 2. So back when my doctor was checking my levels, he did tell me that, it was a possibility that I wouldn't get that many eggs. And at that time, he threw out the idea of donor eggs. So at that time, I was not ready for that. I did not want to go that route. I wanted to try my own eggs. I just like the idea of passing down my genetics, if that makes sense, like having a child that is genetically mine, and I just wanted to try. So the fact that we got, and my dogs are wrestling, so you probably may hear them, but so the fact that I got 2 eggs was great. So I got 2 eggs, and then only one made it to blastocyst stage, and it was tested, everything went through all of that. So I knew that after having my miscarriage, we would have to start again. But my husband and I just kind of talked about what the next step would look like for us, what IVF round number 2 was going to look like. I knew that it would be difficult for us, or for me to have eggs or to retrieve eggs, and good quality eggs at that. So yeah, so that was a lot to think about. So after my miscarriage, so I took some time off to heal, mentally, and just really just process my feelings and everything that I was dealing with at that time. So my husband and I just kind of explored the idea. We knew that what our options were. It was either donor egg IVF or embryo adoption. So we were going back and forth with that, and I talked to my husband about it and told him that, I pretty much had come to the conclusion, or I was okay with either one of those routes being the route that we took. Because of everything that I've been through for my first round of IVF, from the surgeries, the constant cancellations and delays, the egg retrieval, only getting 2 eggs, it was just so much, and it was just such a traumatic first round for me, especially because it ended in a miscarriage. I just decided, like, at this point, and I told God, I said, the only thing I want, like the only 2 things I want is to experience pregnancy, and I want to be I just want to experience pregnancy and be a mom. Like, that's it. Like, I don't care what you got to do to make that happen. If it has to be donor eggs, if it has to be embryo adoption, like, at this point, I'm open to it, because like I said, my first round was so traumatic, and I just did not want to experience that again. Like, to me, the risk of going through that, knowing that my chances of getting healthy eggs, and not just, a lot of eggs, but just even if just 1 or 2 healthy eggs, my chances were very low. And just mentally, emotionally, I don't think I could do it. I decided that I needed to do what's best for my mental health, and this journey is already so taxing mentally, physically. It's just a lot. And yeah, I tried it with my eggs and it didn't work. So it's like, okay, now let's just move on to the next option. Like, what's the quickest way to get me pregnant and to get a baby, earthside? Like, that's it. And then also, I'm getting older. I just turned 35. Like, I don't have that. Yeah. So we went to meet with my doctor earlier this year, and my dogs are so went to meet with my doctor earlier this year and just kind of talk with him about our options. So he said there were 2 things we could do. He said he did recommend donor eggs because of the higher success rate, and just because of my diagnosis, that was his first recommendation. But he said, if we did try for your eggs, and I would recommend back-to-back egg retrievals. So last year I only did 1. So he recommended back-to-back, 2 to 3. And just the sound of that, the thought of that, because like I said, it was just too much. I decided that was not for us. We prayed about it, and I just felt like God was leading us to the donor egg route. Okay, so what is donor egg IVF? Like, what is that? What does that entail? So basically, donor egg IVF is when we use the eggs of a donor, a young, healthy donor. Her eggs are healthy, they've been tested, and we use her eggs, and we use my husband's sperm, fertilize those eggs so that we get embryos. So it's similar to what we already did, but we're not using my eggs, basically. So we're bypassing the initial injections, the stems, so that's the 10 to 11 days of the injections in my stomach, bypassing all of that, getting eggs, healthy eggs from a donor, and then start the fertilization and IVF process. So that is what donor egg IVF is. And my doctor gave us 2 options, or 2 donor banks where we can choose a list of donors. And the donor selection process was actually kind of fun. I kind of equated it, and not that I ever did online dating, but I kind of equated it to that, because like you put in like your criteria, like the race you're looking for, maybe the age range, hair color, eye color, all of that, and then it narrows it down based on your criteria. So that was cool. It was cool to look through donors, and I'll save this for another video, but the one thing I will say is, as an African-American woman, the pool of African-American donors was very low. So like I said, I'll save that conversation for another video, but it did take some time, but I feel like when the time was right, we found the right donor for us, and I'll talk more about that later. So that's what donor egg IVF is, and that is the process where we are now. We are excited about it. I felt at peace. Let me just say that. Like, this round for me is just so much different. I just feel so much at peace. I don't have the same anxiety and frustration and tears that I had last year. Like, while that round, that cycle I'm grateful for it because I learned and I grew from that. This cycle is just different, and I feel like God is truly doing a new thing with this cycle. Like I said, the donor that we chose, the timing of it was perfect, the right donor for us. The donor bank that I chose basically charges per egg, so I chose the amount of eggs I was recommended by my nurse, and she said typically if you're doing donor eggs, they would recommend 5 to 8. We went the highest number, we went 8, and we got our eggs. They were shipped to our clinic. My husband went in last week to do his thing, and out of the 8 we have five frozen embryos. So I'm so excited about that because last year I only had 1, and then after my miscarriage I had none. So I'm so thankful for our fab 5 embryos that are frozen and waiting for us, and we are preparing for transfer next month, and we're just excited. We just feel like this is it. God just orchestrated everything perfectly, and I'm going to share more of that in some upcoming videos, but we're just very excited and happy. I wanted Joe to be in on these conversations, but he is away on work travel, and I'll share more of that. But I just wanted to just kind of give you an update, let you know where we are on our journey. We are doing donor egg IVF. We are excited about it, and just join the ride. Hang on, because the stuff I have to share is insane, and insane in a good way. God has really just worked on our behalf in a way that I could have never imagined, and I feel like this is just the beginning. So stay tuned. I'm excited. If you have done donor egg IVF, or if you have questions about it, let me know, because I'm going to do, like I said, a series about donor egg IVF, because this is just like IVF. This part is definitely not something that's talked about, and it's not, many don't know that it's an option. And I didn't know that this was an option until my doctor introduced it to me. Because this is not something that is talked about, I feel like this is my assignment to share and talk about this journey. So of course God would give me just a different aspect of IVF to share with you guys. So stay tuned for that. My dogs are moving my camera. So I'll be ending my video here. Until next time, don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe.